On the Screws Podcast, episode 98, and this one is brought to you by our friends over at True Classic, trueclassictees.com. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you'll get 25% off plus free shipping right to your door. I picked up some of the classic polos. I just made an eagle two from 112 yards out the other day. You'd be crazy not to try, right? Head over to trueclassictees.com. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you'll get 25% off plus free shipping right to your door, and you'll probably make an eagle two if you wear one of them. Good luck. Enjoy the pod.
3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into, start right, good line, good view, it drew, shoot and make Gavin.
Yeah, we'll just jump right in, man. Episode number 98 on the Screws Podcast. We're with Parker Haynes, University of Findlay, right, alum?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, man. Bryce, how are you doing?
Good.
Good,
Nothing really new.
No?
So just boring old me. So I'm back.
Nice. I was saying I'm just coming off men's league closing. We're recording on Wednesday nights, so I won, but there was apparently an app that I had to put scores
Asterisk.
in. Yeah,
Asterisk.
so the guy who technically won, there's an asterisk beside his name. So Dan Clancy, our club champion, hell of a player. So he's a good player, though. He deserves it. Parker Haynes, University of Findlay. Whereabouts are you right now, Parker?
I'm in Orlando right now, prepping for first stage of Korn Ferry Q school.
Nice. You just you just
that's
got down tonight, yeah?
Gate. Yeah. Flew in this afternoon.
Nice. Okay. Have you played at all? It was raining a little bit, you said?
I went to some like knockoff Top Golf little situation going on, and as soon I was gonna go to the course up here in Castleberry, but I unpacked and looked outside, and they had gotten like 2 inches of rain in 10 minutes. So I went and hid under an awning and watched some lightning flash across the sky most of the afternoon.
Yeah, you don't want to be out there swinging a club around in that for sure.
No.
How's the game looking right now? Things all right?
Yeah, it's all right. Swing feels good. Worked with my instructor, just kind of a check-in yesterday before I left the course. And it feels good going into it, excited. You know, it's obviously a new situation for me, somewhere I've never been. So Champions Gate, the international course, the 20th through the 23rd.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to try and grab a couple links or something for you to check it out. I know we were saying you know Vim a little bit, and Vim's been on the pod. He's friends with Bryce, and he's down there as well. So I guess Bryce, he's playing the same qualifier, I guess, right?
I think so. I'm not sure because a few weeks ago he texted me and said he missed Q school by 2 shots. So I don't know if he's going down to try it again or what. But he's in Florida.
Nice. I know he made the cut on his first pro event too. I was talking to him a little bit just over IG, so good for him. Congrats to him. But have you played any events yet, Parker?
I went to so like this summer I took that first month. In May we made it to nationals for the first time as a program. So that was a big way. That was a good way to exit college, I guess, on a high note for me and my teammates. And then I took the month of June off, just kind of practice, get the swing back to feeling good. And then I played in some pre-qualifiers in a Monday for the Barbasol, and then a few opens, Kentucky Open, the Waterloo Open. And then I just got done with the Governor's Cup out in Frankfort, Kentucky this past weekend.
And you're originally from Kentucky, right?
Yeah, Elizabethtown.
Nice.
Now,
it's like 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes south of Louisville.
Okay, yeah, right on. Definitely, like Bryce and I, we always find the Monday, like the Qs, like pretty fascinating. If we can go back to some of those, I'd love to talk about NCAA. Like it's obviously it's, I don't know, something that we every month or so we get probably a college athlete on, so it's kind of cool to kind of hear the different experiences, kind of what it was like for you. You finished up. This was your last year, or were you 21?
Yeah, I finished in 21, but I got that COVID year. So for Division II, any grade, no matter how old you were, you got an extra year. So that obviously provided me with a really cool opportunity.
So they kind of just like redshirted everyone for that year almost. Is that what they
Yeah.
did? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anybody that wanted it, coach had a conversation with everybody, and kind of said, "Hey, if you want it, we'll allow it." And for the most part, a lot of people did. I think they have 3 guys returning this year for their 5th year, and then last year, me and my roommate did as well.
Right.
Cool.
Is it how many guys you carry? 5?
7.
So for every tournament, it kind of varies. We run 5
Yeah.
for the tournament, but our roster was actually really deep. We had like 15, 16.
Holy.
Right.
Yeah, we had a big group.
Just a
It
battle.
was a lot of fun.
Just a battle to play every weekend, eh? All the boys,
Yeah.
the lower
Yeah.
guys there on the totem pole.
I mean, that's what makes it so much fun is that,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, just because you play okay, like you have to play good to feel secure.
Yeah,
And,
totally. And it's like that competitive level, like you guys are pushing each other and that's how you get better, really.
And especially those last like 2 or 3 years I was there, we were really deep. I mean, we had our 10 to 12 guys. We were under 78 average in qualifying in tournaments. And makes it tough for coach to have decision making, and
Yeah,
even tougher for us because we don't want to make him have to
For
pick.
sure, yeah.
mm-hmm.
So,
I was looking up. You're 73, 72 for the final year, right? 73.72, so just under 74 scoring average. So hopefully made it easy on coach. I hope. That's tough. Like,
yeah.
So the team events, like when you guys go, there's 5. I was trying to I remember I talked about this with Andy Walker. He's the head coach at VCU. They just had a monster week, apparently like minus 36 or something
As a team.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I saw him post that the other day, and he's a past guest, really good guy. We text every now and again. But so there's 5 guys that go to the team event, right?
Yeah, which we were really lucky. Our coach, knew how deep we were, and so did a lot of other coaches in the area.
Yeah.
So they would try to tack on individuals. So luckily, I think my final year, we probably had 6 guys minimum go to every tournament.
Oh, really? Only 4 scores count towards team?
4 scores count per round. So, yeah.
And then you can play like solo individual, right?
Yeah. So, like, you take the 5 on the team, and out of those 5, the top 4 scores count.
Okay, yeah.
And then that 5th score drops, and you can have individuals, which that's what made it tough for us was we had such a good team and such good guys in the same circle that, I mean, we would go to Big Blue out in Lexington, Kentucky, and we'd have 2 individuals in the top 10 that aren't in the top 5.
Yeah.
So like,
so do you have to like register as an individual before, or like how does that work? Like, so say we're 3 of us are on a team and we had one more guy and me and you had really good scores. Can you only use it for team or only individual, or can you just use it for both? Like, can you use my score for team and individual?
No. So, I mean, like, there's an individual tournament leaderboard, and then there's the team leaderboard. Okay. So, like, for, say there are 12 teams, they put those 5 guys, those top 5 guys for the roster in, and then only 4 of those scores can count. If you have extra people, say you bring a 6 through 8 man, they can't count towards the team score.
Okay.
Yeah. Does it go by round or does it go by total? Like, because it's usually you play 2 or 3 rounds for most tournaments, yeah?
So most tournaments we played was 36 the first day, and then we'd play 18 the second day.
So are you doing it per 18, or are you doing it by the total 54 hole score? Like, so that 5th guy who gets dropped, is that based on 54, or is that based on can you?
That's just based on every 18 rounds.
Okay.
Or every 18 holes, yeah.
Okay.
So every 4 scores are different every day, pretty much.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, for my game, like I would probably need one of the boys to pick me up on one of those. Like, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I need the boys on probably all 3, but I'd be there.
Yeah, it would be.
It helps when you got guys around you that you feel like you can trust pick you up if you're struggling. Sure. Yeah.
Well, that just kind of adds into that team aspect of golf, right? Like that not a lot of people realize with watching the PGA Tour. Like there's not, I guess it's not strategy, but like you said, like you gotta have trust in your teammates, because if you do have one off day, you need to have three other guys or four other guys that'll be able to pick you up and kind of recover for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess, how do I put this? Like, we have had, I don't know, a guess would be probably 15 college athletes on, maybe, or so, Bryce, eh? Like, so we seem to get like a different opinion from everybody, but it seems like, the team approach is always pretty good. But we've had some people say, they felt like very individualistic, like on the team, like it's you're still kind of competing for a job, right? Like, were you pretty close with the other guys, or do you think it was kind of like you were still competing with them?
It was kind of a balance of both. I lived with so last year I lived with four guys, and all four guys were in the top six at different times throughout
Okay,
the
yeah.
year. So I mean, the biggest thing is trying to leave it on the golf course. Which if you have a bad round and it costs you your job, it's a little bit harder to stomach that. But I mean, we had really good relationships. I love all the guys that I was on the team with, uh, which was a lot of different guys with that big of a roster and being there for 5 years. But as an older guy, you're always trying to take the younger ones under your wing and teach them, hey, this is how we do things here. And I mean, it was a good relationship for the most part. There are always those bumps in the roads here and there. So
I feel like that would be something that, like, for your coach, would be something that might be a little tricky at times to manage, but because you're all competitors, right? Like, we all are. We all want to win. We all want to shoot lower scores, and you don't want anybody else to take your job, but they're also your teammates, so you kind of want them to play well, right? So
I feel like it's also
yeah,
a lot tougher being like a younger guy and like a freshman, and kind of just being in and out, if not always out of that lineup, and kind of getting frustrated. But
it's hard to find the maturity to
yeah,
take a deep breath and take a step back
yeah,
yeah.
at
for
some point.
sure.
Yeah.
So, quick transition. So, Bryce and I both have one each. Like, I don't count my one when I was a young guy, but we both got one ace each, and we're I talked about how we're kind of at the point where we're just hunting for like the perfect shot now, right? So, like,
I'm hunting for putts still,
if
but
I can
Yeah.
take a couple
Yeah.
of skins off the boys and make a few bucks here and there, that's kind of where we're at now. And yeah, it's nice to talk to professional golfers like we do, and kind of live vicariously through you guys. So you had one, and then you had two, and then the next day you had three. So can you kind of take us through, like, that's a pretty wild story to have back to back aces on back to back days?
Yeah. I will say this. I have a crazy story about my first one too.
All right, you
let's
know
hear
what?
My
it.
first, my,
Let's start with that one, and then
yeah.
We'll hear all
Uh,
three.
so my first one is a weird story all the way around. It was at a Brickyard in Indianapolis, and that's the course with holes inside the track up
Okay.
there. So they have like 4 or 5 holes inside the Indy track up there in Indianapolis, and they were actually like having practice or something was going on during the tournament, so they had music playing. So Sweet Dreams was playing, and for whatever reason, my dad pulled out his phone and got it on video. My first one.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so there's a video on my Twitter. Um, I think my Twitter's like Parker Haynes 9 or something like that. But
yeah,
there's a video
I'll
on
grab
my
it, and
on
Put it
my
we'll
all
link
up.
it.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that got on there, which is really cool getting that on video. And then my back-to-back hole in ones this year was cool.
Bryce, you gotta look up
And there,
the course. Sorry, Parker. You gotta look up, like, it. It's pretty cool. Like, I've never seen this. I've never seen it where it's like you said there are 4 or 5 holes. It looks like there's at least one, two,
What's it
yeah,
three.
called?
The Brickyard. Like, I just put in the Brickyard Golf, and it looks like
and
there's 5 holes inside the track. That's wild, man.
yeah,
That's so cool.
and plus the snake pit where the infield gets filled up with people is right there. And I think they were sponsored by Coors. They might still be. So like they have a big sign in the like right there off the course, off one of the tee boxes, and
That is cool.
and it's just Snake Pit is what it says.
What a spot to get your first. Like, that's such a
That's
good
sweet.
story.
I've never even
Yeah,
heard of this place.
Do you remember how far it
yeah.
was? How far the yardage?
It was like 170 maybe,
Yeah.
175, something like that.
That's wild, man. That's so
Little
awesome.
7-iron.
Yeah.
Are you always late for your tee times? Can't keep pace on the course? Or standing over the ball way too long thinking that this time it's going to be different? Quick pause from today's episode to bring you a note from today's sponsor, the Vincero Collective. If you're looking for the perfect accessory to keep you on time for a limited time only, get 20% off plus free shipping site-wide. Support the pod with our exclusive code OTSG at thevincerocollective.com. Never be late for a tee time again. So back-to-back days, back-to-back aces. Can you kind of walk us through what happened there?
I tried to think about it on why, because the club championship at E-Town was actually out there that weekend, so it was the championship pins. So it was a Sunday Monday situation. So I got the Sunday pins, which was really cool, but I didn't play in the club championship. So I actually ran out there. Me and my assistant pro played a lot this summer a lot, but for whatever reason, we said, hey, let's go shoot out on the course. Let's play some. So that first day, we only played 9 holes, and I went out there in hole 6. It's kind of a shorter hole. It's like 160 to the middle from the tips, over water. But I try to kind of make it more challenging. So there's actually a tee box from a par 5-4
way back,
right behind it. So I went back there, and it was like 192, I think, was that day, and I hit like a flighted 5-iron into the wind, and it actually landed like an inch and a half past the hole, landed and popped back into it.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then the next one was like the next day. Same guy is with me. He had to watch both of them. Christian Ramirez out at E-Town. He had to suffer through it, dealing with me and playing against me. We play little matches a couple times a week. We try to.
Pissed.
Man, could you imagine playing a match with a buddy and he goes back-to-back aces on back-to-back days?
Pissed.
Oh,
and I got a little cocky after the first hole because hole 2 out there is a par 3, and I hit it right on line, and I was like, oh, I made another one, and and just like dropped my club, and it was like 10 feet behind it, but 16, kind of the same situation, slightly into the wind, 190, and that one landed like 5-10 feet short of it, rolled in.
That's awesome.
That's so good, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna, since Blake's never gonna do it, I'm gonna, just since we're talking about it, I'm gonna talk about it real quick. So my brother is 19, club championships. What was that, a month ago now?
Yeah.
Matt? So about a month ago, he 17 is a short at his club. Oshawa is a short par 4. I think it was like 317, I think is the yardage, or give or take yards.
I think he said it was 312, playing 312.
So day 2 club championships, takes a 5-wood. He told me it was the best 5-wood he ever hit in his life, and he was yelling sit down right after contact. He flew it to the pin. It hit the flag, like the actual flag, and dropped in the cup for a hole-in-one on a par 4 in Club C's. And everyone went nuts because he had all his buddies following him in carts and stuff, and there's a cart up at the green, and he had no idea. Because
I had 2 buddies that text me and were like, oh, your cousin just made a hole-in-one on 17 on a par 4. I text Blake and I was like, what are you doing in Club C's hitting driver? And he's like, I didn't. I hit 5 wood. I was like, okay, cool. Whatever, man. Yeah, so
but yeah, he said he was like not very happy with his shot. He thought he was long, obviously, and
yeah.
His buddy came wheeling up the fairway from the green saying it's in. They just all sprinted to the green. So that's he went on to shoot 68 in that day and won by 14.
Yeah, it's 3-day event though. 3-day event.
Yeah, 3-day event.
But yeah, he dominated it. I haven't, if I can take a couple minutes of your time, Parker. So I had a nice eagle too the other day, which was pretty cool. I had the weirdest round, Bryce. So you played the course. Like I have a pretty cool course up on the water here. First hole is used to actually be the fifth hole. They had to take out some holes because there's like some redevelopment. So we start on a par three, which is kind of strange. And I think it was like 189 or something. I hit 6-iron, one hopped it off the pin, rolled out to like 20 feet. I made par. So the guy in my group was like, we're playing a money game, and he's like, oh, like today, like I think you're dialed, and I hit one shot. He's like, it's gonna be a weird round or whatever. It's gonna be all right. Like it's gonna be crazy. And I actually made a good like long par four next. Made a long par putt from like 15 feet or something like that to kind of keep the momentum rolling. So it was good. Like I was feeling good. Everything was going all right. I think I was like even or something going into I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that. And I shanked my tee shot on number 9, and it was so bad. Like I topped it so bad. It one hopped off a bridge over the water and bounced up into the fairway. And then I made a 3 from there. I got up and down and made a 3. And so we get to the 10th hole, and like things were just like going all right. Like in the round, I end up like hitting a driver, and I was hugging the right hand side. It's OB, and I thought it was OB, so I hit a provisional. And we get up, and Mike's ball's there, and mine's kind of like right beside it. And I was like, oh shit! Like I must have hit this like one random like 200-year-old tree that's completely dead, and it kept my ball in the fairway. And he's like, well, I'll hit. You kind of get sorted, whatever it is. So I checked the yardage. I zapped it really quick, and I had 112 and hit a shot. It was a back,
buried it.
Yeah, back tucked pin, and I just one hopped it. I saw it was like right on, so I was watching it, and then it just disappeared. And I was like, that went in. And one of the guys from behind was like, it went in. And he played in our like men's league and stuff, so it was pretty cool. And then I almost made an ace on the following hole. I hit it to like a foot. It was
That would have been a nice back to back.
Yeah, it was so I think it was like 4 under through 3 holes or something. It was pretty cool. It was just one of those days, like sometimes like you're just hitting it well, like you with back to back days, you kind of like dropped your club and it went to 10 feet or whatever, and you just kind of I don't know, beat up on a buddy of yours. That's pretty good. So
Yeah.
that's
Hey,
like
I will say there was a weird connection with that first hole in one at Brickyard. That round wasn't the start I wanted to. I started with a 10. With
A 10.
Wow.
Well, yeah, with a 10, I can swallow my pride and say I did that.
Yeah.
Mainly because if my coach hears this and hears that I didn't mention it, he'll probably text me and wear me out about it. Yeah. So I started with a 10 that day off the first hole,
Well-
and ended up having a hole in one 6 holes later. So
Well, I have my scorecard, and I think so I think I went 3-4-2, and then or I went no, sorry, 3-2-2, and then I went 7-6-7. So I can admit that it was a couple par
Sounds like our
fives.
game.
Yeah, it was. Then it went par 5, hard par 4, and then a hard par 5, or not a hard par 5, but I still made a mess of it. Which actually, like, I just completely like, I play up the opposing fairway on this one par 5, and I zapped a tree. I hit a great approach shot, but I zapped a tree, and I guess I got the one behind it because I couldn't see the pin, or I got the one closer to it. Sorry, so I hit like 150-yard club, and I flew it like 40 yards into the woods, and I thought I had a good shot. I like re-zapped it at like 118 or something. So that's
Are you talking about 14?
Yeah, the one that like bends up.
Such
Yeah,
a scumbag play.
yeah. It was just what going up the other fairway.
Yeah,
I'm hitting a
like,
7-iron in, man. I'm hitting a 7-iron in. It's great.
Yeah,
So,
I hit 9-iron in from like 200 feet elevation to that green that one day.
It was it's just kind of a neat hole. Like the layout's kind of like funky. It's an old
That
track.
putt I made, that like
It's an
40-foot slider for eagle. That was wicked.
It's like it's like the 5th or 6th oldest course in Canada up here. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty lucky to play. It's right on the lake. It's cool. It's a really good spot. But can we talk about the Monday Qs a little bit if you don't mind, Parker?
yeah, sure.
So you were playing the Monday Q for the Barbasol this year?
Yeah, I played in the Monday out at Boom Trace, I think.
So for us guys who don't get that opportunity, what's it like?
It's
Nerve-wracking.
it's a little, the first time definitely nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's a little nerve wracking. So I got into it last year too. I went to because it's right there in Lexington. The pre qualifier is, so I just go out there, and so the pre qualifier, if you're not exempt into the Monday, you go out to Cherry Blossom, you play out there, and then you get into the Monday out in Richmond kind of area, and it's a lot of fun. Last year, I don't know if you all have ever heard of him. I played with a guy named Tane Lee. He had gotten into the Rocket a year or two ago. Monday Q guy on Twitter. He talks about him quite a bit, or he has in the past. Um, he, I think he was like 4 or 5 under through 6 or 7 holes, and ended up missing it by like one, and missed the playoff by one, I think. And so he ended up shooting like 66 that day. So like getting to play with a guy like that as somebody who's not on the pro level yet is kind of okay. Like I need to wake up and make it happen, because you're seeing guys like that don't really miss a shot, and when they do, they recover so easily.
And then you're like, how the hell am I gonna make it past this?
Yeah, it makes you kind of reset it.
Yeah,
so,
big time.
But I mean, I had a blast getting to play with him, and then this year I played with a few guys, and we had a nerve-wracking first hole, really tough pin location on the first. Even though you go like driver wedge in, it was right above this slope that if you were above it and you hit it past the hole, you had 30 feet coming back up a slope. But that first hole is pretty nerve-wracking. The course isn't crazy challenging. It's a really gettable course. But I will say, like, going on trips by yourself to these Monday Qs for the first time, like I went out to the John Deere this summer to try to pre-qualify in, and I missed it by a few shots. And like being by yourself, and you're like, all right, like this is a reality now.
Yeah,
it's a good feeling, but it's definitely a
you got no one to lean on.
New challenge. Yeah, it's a new challenge to step into. So
sure.
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago, we had Lauren Zaretsky. She was the 2021 Canadian Women's Am Champ, and she played in the CB Women's Open here. And she's going to Texas Tech. It's her first year now. And funny story, she got an ace in her first LPGA event, which is insane. Like, so good. She made the cut. She played really well. But yeah, like that was one of the things that she was saying. It's kind of like nerve-wracking, you know? It's a different experience. Like, I was thinking, Bryce, when we were talking with Callum Davison, he was the PGA Tour Canada Player of the Year last year, and he was going to the Waste Management Monday qualifier. Like, he got through pre-qualifying. He was there, missed it by one, I believe. And same thing. Like you said, it's kind of different. You know, it's a different level. Like, you play, you know, whatever events and whatever mini tours you're playing. You know, when you're kind of playing those tournaments and stuff, it's obviously there's going to be some nerves, but when you're kind of getting up there with guys and, you know, might be playing Korn Ferry or whatever it is, it's yeah, it would be kind of like another level of nerves that'd be really, really tricky. And because we were saying, like, you know, obviously there's a stadium hole and stuff like that too, which would be really, like, they weren't playing the pre-qualifier there, but if imagine you get in, you're kind of playing like your first event there, and for him, he's a cross-handed golfer too, which was it's bizarre, right? So
you heard of him at all, Parker?
I haven't. No. I might have seen something about him on Twitter, but
yeah,
cross-handed golfers.
He's
unreal.
Yeah, he plays down at the Palms, so it's like he's down there in Florida for most of the year, right? But it's pretty cool watching him like kind of get it around. It is neat to see. But would you ever think of the Canadian Tour route? Would you come up this way?
Yeah, actually. So this year I actually went to the Mackenzie Tour Q school. I was kind of lucky with the timing, and we had a week in between spring break and the first tournament at Tennessee Tech. So I actually got my coach and my school to sign off on letting me go from spring break, catching a plane out to Dothan, Alabama. And I mean, coming from Ohio, it's hard to knock the rust off in a week to get ready for that big of a change, because And the Monday Qs are really cool, but that first experience, you're at Q school. It's, hey, if you want to be able to make sure you have a schedule this summer, like, you need to show up, and
Right.
it's definitely tough, but it was a good experience. I didn't play well at all, especially that first day. I played really bad.
Did you say it was in Alabama?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think like
Dawson.
11 of the 12 qualifiers, Bryce, I believe, were all down south. Like
For
there
the
was only,
MAC tour?
yeah, there was only one up top.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought they
because
all would have been in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, they happen in like March.
Yeah, they go
for the most
early,
part.
right? Yeah,
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I think,
Because the season, I think the season starts up like May.
yeah, I think
'Cause I
there's like
know
one.
there's
early June.
Because I know there's a MAC tour event usually at Ambassador, which is like one of the nicer courses in Windsor. Like
Yeah.
I used to, right where I used to live there. So
Yeah, but O-Dog says Windsor's like the Florida of Canada or whatever, right? So it's like
yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far.
some.
But yeah,
I was listening one day and they were talking about going because they were talking about wanting to go away in golf, and he was like, "Well, let's just go to Windsor," and it's like November, and they were like, "It's still cold in Windsor, O-Dog." Like that's just on TSN Overdrive up here, but he was like, "No, look it up, it's nicer weather there," and it was just it was not that nice. But yeah, I think they only have one actual well, it's PGA Tour Canada now, Q School event up here. And I think it's like a week before they start. I think they they might start the long weekend in May. So
it's like the last Q school event
yeah.
for them.
Yeah, so up here, like that can still be pretty cold, right? And I was lucky enough last year to carry the bag for a friend at the Osprey Valley event here, TPC Toronto, and this year I did a Monday qualifier with a guy who actually walked in the group with Ziggy Nathu. So he played PGA Tour Latino America, but it's one of the things like you're kind of thinking about or talking about those guys who just like if they don't hit the best shot, they kind of like make up for it in the next one, right? And it's one of the things that I noticed kind of walking around because, like, I can hit the ball far away, so can Bryce. Like, we can hit it well. Like, today felt like you kind of get out there and you think, like, when you're hitting it well, like, how do guys hit the ball better than I am right now? And it's just like, it's just that consistency for like 18 straight holes, no misses.
Yeah.
And even if they do miss a little bit, like, they're not missing that next shot, right? And I think that's kind of the difference between, the two guys here on the right-hand side of the screen, which are Bryce and I and yourself, man. That's
the way I'd put it is like if you gave me 10 rounds on the same course in the same conditions, you take my 18 or you take my whatever best shots on every hole, I'd shoot 62, but that takes 10 rounds for me to put that together. You know what I mean? Like these guys, it takes 1 or 2 to put that round together.
yeah, I'll touch.
That's kind of how I look at things. If that made any sense, it did.
No, I get what you mean. Like if you kind of break down the holes and stuff like that and put it all together, and I think it's just like kind of seeing guys at this level, and there's so many. Like as we get to know, more of the pros in the area and stuff, it's like, or even like college golfers and stuff. It's kind of just there's so many, right? There's so many players, so many guys trying to get in on Monday, and that's if you get that opportunity, you got to take it when you can, right? All right, we made it through 9, and this glizzy is brought to you by our friends over at Manscaped, Manscaped.com. You can go over, check out the Ultra Premium Collection or anything that you need to not suffer through the back 9 here. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. Maybe you'll go low on the back. Thank you for supporting the episode. Thank you for supporting the pod. Manscaped.com, 20% off using the promo code OTS Golf. Free shipping right to your door. Enjoy the pod.
What's in the bag? What are you planning? Do you have any club deals or anything? Or are you
So I reached out to I mean, I had my coach reach out to a bunch of reps, a bunch of the guys around Kentucky, and Titleist and Callaway kind of gave me the same opportunity. Titleist was like, it's kind of like a player development deal.
Okay.
So like Titleist, I think was like 50% off retail, which grand scheme of things is a big discount. Not quite what guys like Rory and them get, but it's definitely a big discount. And Callaway was basically the same thing, 30% off retail. For the most part, I'm decked out with Callaway. I actually just got the new driver 4-wood and hybrid.
Ooh, 4-wood,
like
Rogue ST?
Yeah, giving my gaffing a little bit better, a little bit spacing. I've had a 4-wood for like 4 or 5 years actually.
Did you say 3-wood and 4-wood? Sorry,
I have
hybrid.
a 4-wood. And
hybrid. Okay.
Yeah, so I have the X Forge CBs.
Okay.
Irons with X100 shafts in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then my wedges are actually Titleist. I have the SMAs right now. My 58 degree is starting to look like somebody took sandpaper to it though. So I probably need to get a new one in the bag here.
Is it in the middle at least?
I mean, yeah, for the most part. I work on bunkers a lot, and I like to play with the face a little bit, so it expands a little bit more than I'd like. But
I saw something on Instagram, and a guy was like showing his like wear pattern as like a little dime, and he was like, "Oh, look at this! It's like a dime. That's so good." But it was up on like the left hand toe. And like that's not good. It's consistent, but it's not good. That's like not where you want to be hitting it. And he was like so proud of it, and he didn't understand that was like, yeah.
Hey, he knows where the ball's going, and that's all that matters.
Exactly,
I mean,
right?
If there is a club though, back to what you're saying, if that can have wear patterns everywhere on it, it is a lob wedge. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Just because all the versatility you use it for, and
yeah. Once you hit those things out of the bunker, I had like a set of those Haywood wedges, Bryce, and they had the black PVD like coating, so it kind of rub off after a bit. So hitting some of those things like out of the bunker, and you just see like the little flecks of like where all the mar was a little demoralizing, but it becomes pretty consistent after a little while. But I wanted to, before we get into what you're rolling, so the 4-wood, why the 4-wood? What's like with your gapping? Why does that work for you, Parker?
Well, I guess what degree is it first?
It's a 16 and a half.
Okay.
So like, I mean, 10 years ago that was considered a 5-wood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in most cases, I think. But so I think what initially happened was back whenever I was coming out my freshman year of college, I didn't really have any ball speed. Swing speed was down. Like I just wasn't hitting the ball good.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't quality. And I think the fitter just genuinely looked at me and was like, "Dude, you can't get a 3-wood off the ground good enough." So
it up.
So like he was like, honestly, this is gonna be good for you. It'll give you a closer gap between your hybrid and that wood. So I trusted him. The guy did a great job. I had the fitting. This is my first fitting really since then. So like it lasted me three and a half years. And he did a really good job, but the 4-wood kind of gives me a better gapping than a 3-wood could, because there'd be a little bit too much space. Right. It flies somewhere around like 250, 260.
So aside to the gapping, did you kind of just get comfortable with it and kind of just now you just don't want to change it?
Nice. Yeah, I like the gapping between it, and even whenever I need to switch stuff up off the tee box, I, for the most part, can hit kind of a knockdown driver and get it flighted. So, like, if I need that shot to go further than my 4-wood can, then I can hit
soft cut.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the explanation for it.
Well, because I hit the 3 high, like the high launch, and I think it's 16 and a half as well. So it's essentially playing as like a 4-wood. Right?
Yeah, that's what mine is.
Yeah. So, and I kind of like it. Like the offset looks nice. I like the kind of way I don't know. Some days I hit my 3-wood like really well, and then some days it like has an absolute mind of its own. But that's like pretty much every club in my bag except maybe my putter. What are you rolling right now?
I'm putting with a Benton Artie Studio B putter. Had that in the bag for a few years, and really like it. They do a great job at fitting. If you have the opportunity to go up there and get a fit in, I mean, it's awesome. You can get to walk in. They have like plaques and stuff for pro tour players. They have like a little section for Kuchar, who's like their image guy for the most part.
Fits now.
Yeah, Fitz is.
What did you say you rolled? The Benton what?
Studio B.
Studio B.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look it up here. I'm trying to get the I'm trying to get the shape of
it.
Let
me check it out. It's a blade.
Oh, he's got it right here. Here we go.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got the whole bag right.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to show us everything.
That is so nice, man.
What's the face look like? I do like that.
Yeah, it kind of looks like if you're not watching us over on YouTube, go do that on the Screws Podcast.
What is it? It almost looks
subscribe to the channel.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, it does look like the ER2. Like the
ER2, but I also find it looks just like this Newport. Like it has those rounded corners. It's not like
yeah,
they're not really square.
Yeah, it's
looks
a lot
like a Newport with like an
It's
even roll face almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a face balance. So a little straight through action.
There you go.
No arc in the stroke at all.
Maybe a little bit, but not a ton.
You play it kind of long, like you play like 35-inch.
It's like a 36. I'm 6'4" though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of short for me, but
right.
Yeah.
So you kind of like get right over it, like your eye line. I'm always kind of interested in different people's like different putting stroke. I definitely have an arc in mine. Like I've been playing heel hosel forever. I just picked up another one, like I was telling you guys before we got on the chat today. But yeah, I'm kind of always like interested in the putting stroke because there's so many different ways to kind of. It's such a simple stroke, but there's so many different ways to do it, right? Bryce has like that Zalatoris, like that janky part in his.
Oh, it's worse. My putter comes back. I don't even want to talk about it, but if there's a slow mo of some of my putts, you would cringe.
Yeah, it's
I might throw up. Honestly, it's not bad. But that's so funny you say that. Like you would like to talk about people's putting strokes because everyone should know this by now who listens to the pod. I'm a terrible putter. I hate putting. You get some good lag on your driver swing though. That's what I like talking about. You probably can get that thing moving.
Well, we got 250 carry with the 4 hybrid, right? Or the 4 the 4 wood, right?
So like my biggest problem is I don't quite get my hips open up as much as some of you hockey players probably do.
Yeah.
Like Vimmer, I can't keep up with Vimmer.
He can
I'll admit that straight up. Which I've only played with him like once, I think, but I know off that one experience, like I won't even act like I can keep up.
Well, I think he was telling us like about his 2-iron and like he was casually telling us about like the 270 carry or something. Right? And we're just like,
if I get a hold of one,
I don't even want to talk to that dude about distance.
Yeah.
If I get a hold of one, which is rare, but if I center the club face and get my hips through, I can not keep up with them, but I'm close. But yeah, he can pound the golf ball.
Yeah, that's definitely something me and my swing coach have talked about. You know, once I get things kind of lined out, hopefully just get all the way through Q school this year, and once I have some actual time off, then I have a kind of armsy swing a little bit. But I mean, it goes straight for the most part. That's all you're really looking for. But
yeah, for sure.
Being my size, everybody's a little bit surprised whenever they see how far my ball goes. I think on during my fitting, I carried this somewhere around like 285, 290, and it's rolling out to about 305, 310.
Yeah.
So
so after this season, you're gonna start teeing it high and getting those hips through. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the goal. Let's get a card before.
There you go.
Tinker with anything.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Mine is like I feel the same. Like when I'm clearing the hips, like things are fine. Like I can like I've golfed with Bryce. I can carry it 300, hit it down the middle, or I could also hit it 300 with a snap hook. I'm a lefty, so it's the right hand side, and that's kind of my miss, which is trying to get rid of that is tough. Like I find like it at least creeps in usually every other round, so a little too frequent.
Which, I mean, with this new driver, I sacrificed a little bit of distance. So,
did you?
But it's going straighter and it's a little bit more consistent, and that's more what I was looking for.
What shaft you got in that driver?
I have the
Hazardous
blue Venice.
Oh, okay.
Right.
6X or 7?
TR 7X.
7. Nice.
But my old, and this is a LS head. I think it's a 9 degree.
Okay.
But my old driver was the hazardous green smoke.
Was it the actual Hulk one or like the?
It wasn't. I tried to hit that, and the guy fitting me was like, "Hey man, it's just a little too stiff."
That's a big boy shaft. That's a big shaft.
Yeah, I hit the hazardous green smoke. I liked that for a long time, and then I ended up going to the Ventus Black 6X.
Did you hit the actual green shiny one though, or just the green?
I have hit it, but that thing's a board, man. Like it's
it's rebar. Yeah. Cam Champ, baby. That guy gets his hips through.
Yeah.
It's hard to swing that thing. Yeah.
It's well, even like sometimes like I feel I just broke one of mine. It's right behind me. It's just sad, but I got another one in the mail, and like even the 6X, like it felt stiff. Like the black 6X, like it just felt like it felt stiff. It's feeling okay now.
You
but
felt
like,
mine, haven't you?
yeah. It's but you're also
Mine's up there.
ton of lag, a little bit of a different swing. We're swinging from different places, but we
I
want
think doesn't Vimmer still have the hold, or does he not have it anymore?
I haven't actually talked to him about his clubs in a while. I know he still plays the sim, I think, like the original sim.
Yeah.
That's what I was playing with mine.
But I don't know if he still has that or not.
Yeah.
We'll have to have him back on. It's supposed to be this week.
I can
so
outdrive that wuss. He can't. He's not that long.
Yeah, Bryce also said one time that he thought he could outdrive Ryan Gregnell. He's the 2020 Canadian long drive champ. And he went 6 for 6 last week, Bryce, and was 17 yards short of the longest ever set in long drive history.
I said, give me a long drive driver, give me a month, and I said maybe. I
think
didn't
he'd
say
be
I
fine.
would. I said
I think I think he'd be okay. I don't think you're like he's one of only 3 people on the planet to hit 230. Yeah, so I don't think I'm optimistic. Bryce can lag it out there. He can he can hit it, man. Like he is like I hit my driver pretty far and he's hitting his hybrid like right behind me. So he's definitely like he can poke it out there pretty far, but
but you can also putt circles around me. So
No,
that's
but
why
we're-
that's why we make the best scramble team.
Yeah.
Which Bryce, didn't you play hockey for a while, or do you?
Yeah,
still?
I played my whole life. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the hockey players are just. I mean, you all are just different. Your
a lot of
bodies
people
work a
say
different way.
that. It's just and I have I have pretty good hips. Like even in hockey, like a lot of hockey guys get like tight hips after playing for a while, and I just never did. And that's the only thing I always focus on with my drivers when I'm actually trying to get one out there. It's just hips first, and
Just
they're pretty
swinging
much square when my arms are still like here almost.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of follows through. I don't know why, but my driver's just the best club in my bag, no matter like what day it is. It's crazy, which is honestly not a bad thing. But
so Parker, what's next for you? Like you think about going pro?
I've already turned. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to because I know I was talking with one of the girls here and so you have to like I guess you can't do it. It's got to be like on the Tuesday before an event or something like that. I know that there was like a couple like stipulations with it, but was it like a difficult choice for you? Like what was the idea? So you finish up your 5th year, you're able to kind of go back for the red shirt for an extra year. So at that point, were you just kind of like, there's no real point in being an amateur anymore. You might as well turn pro.
So I mean, I picked up clubs going into my freshman year of high school, and that's kind of where I started. So whenever I picked them up, it was mainly because I got 3 concussions in like a year's span in like 8th grade from football and basketball and stuff. But, that was always kind of the end goal. My brother played before I started, and I didn't really want to be around it whenever he was. So, but that's what kind of got me into it. And the kind of the way I looked at it was, why am I gonna spend so much time and effort trying to be so good at something if I'm not gonna try to take it all the way?
Right.
Yeah.
So what I actually did going into my 4th year, that was my goal. Is okay. If COVID didn't happen, after 4 years, I was done, and I was gonna see if I could run with it, kind of based off where I was. But getting that 5th year opportunity allowed me to focus, because I did my master's program and I didn't finish it. I took what I needed to be able to play and help the team out and do what I needed to do, and really use that year to kind of, okay, what do we need to do so that once school's over, I can hit the ground running instead of having to kind of stall out for 6 months to a year trying to figure out and game plan. So that's what I did. I actually went into my coach and assistant coach's office. I texted my swing coach, my Titleist performance workout guy, that I've used in the past, and kind of grouped them all together and said, hey, like if we want to get our PGA Tour card here in 2 years, we have to start now. There's no point in waiting, and that's kind of how I did it. It's a little bit different route than a lot of people go. I think a lot of people set out with, I want to be on the PGA Tour, but I think it's really hard to game plan it in advance to where you don't have to figure it out as it's happening. So
yeah, was that one of the biggest like kind of from school to pro, that jump? I mean, what's like your biggest differences, or what have you noticed is like the hardest or easier kind of thing?
A couple things. Keeping up with the time of year
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit harder. You don't have to go back to school.
Yeah.
Luckily, I took my girlfriend up to move in, so I somewhat knew the time frame of what time of year it was. But
because I know
I'd say
Vin
that,
talked about scheduling. Like you're always like, oh, but be at the bus at this time. Like you don't have to worry about anything else because they all deal with it at school. And now you're kind of on your own, and you gotta schedule
yeah,
all your meals and where you're staying and stuff.
yeah. Which like even during amateur golf, like away from the school atmosphere, my dad did a lot. He had a lot of experience doing it with my brother too. So like he liked having all the knowledge, all the information he needed to know. But this year I've taken more of a handle on it myself, which is he's still helping me a lot and kind of showing me the ropes of how to schedule and stuff like that. But for like the scheduling, we just kind of said, okay, let's say we're on the road for 3-4 weeks here and kind of run with it based off qualifiers. And that was probably the hardest part is, you're not just signing up for tournaments. You're signing up for qualifiers in hopes for tournament golf.
Yeah.
So like I played in 2 or 3 legitimate tournaments this summer, but the rest were all qualifiers.
Okay.
Which is, if you're not used to it, that's really weird.
Yeah.
To just say, hey, I could be here for a week, I might have to leave tomorrow.
Well, that was kind of like Kevin Gordon, Mac, when he was like, yeah, I got the event this weekend, but I'm also going to the Monday Q for the Canadian Open.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I qualify, I'm just not going to the event, I guess.
Well, he definitely qualified because I was carrying the Ziggy's bag on the Monday, and it's funny because I was just thinking about this conversation. We were having lunch after. Gordo did win that event. It was windy as hell. And he shot -5, which was like, he shot a 66, I think it was, at Nobleton Lakes, which was like, it was like shooting a 59, man, on that day. It was wild. So I was having lunch with Ziggy and Trevor Yu, a couple PGA Tour Canada players, going through the Monday qualifiers, and that was one of the things that they said was like the biggest difference. One of the guys was in our group. He was struggling. I can't remember his name, but he's from Augusta, and he was having like a tough day, and he was saying like, this was his 6th Monday qualifier and hadn't made any yet. So Ziggy the week before had missed by 1, the week before he'd missed by 2, and that day we missed by 1 to get into the Osprey Valley event. So it was like, pretty much what Trevor was saying. He's like a really calm guy. Just like he had I won't say what a score was. I don't know. It wasn't a good round. It was it started with an 8, and then I saw them at the Monday qualifier for the Quebec event, I think it was, and he shot like a 64. So it's just what they were kind of saying. I guess what I'm trying to say is like the biggest difference for them is when you start playing those Monday qualifiers and you're a pro, trying to navigate all those ropes, trying to like, get yourself to the events, get yourself prepared, and it's just a grind, right? Like it's always
I think it's just mentally draining too.
Exactly.
All of it, like the ups and downs and all the travel and all the hotels and
Are you traveling with people, Parker? You got people with you?
So right now I'm actually by myself. I came down here a couple days early. I got a friend up. That's where I'm at right now. Is I'm staying at a friend's house.
Nice.
Luckily, her sister and me are really good friends from school, so I can stay here for cheap. And I'm gonna try to get some extra couple days just down here on Bermuda grass and get used to that because up in Kentucky we have bent greens. We don't have much grain going on. So I'm by myself right now. I think my parents are going to come down for the tournament this week. But for the most part, yeah, I've been on the road by myself, kind of bouncing around, which, you know, like I said, it's really weird. Which it's a good and bad thing, I'd say, because it's kind of weird not having anybody to like talk to consistently. Like if you're driving down the road, you can't just like look over and say something.
Yeah.
So you can catch yourself talking.
Yeah, you can, man.
I've done it
Yeah.
plenty of times.
I mean, which, you know, it's cool. It's part of it, I think, and it kind of it unfortunately it kind of normalizes to you. You don't even realize you do it sometimes.
Yeah. I always sorry to cut you off. I always like call my buddies on FaceTime when I'm driving far, and like I'll like get a call and they'll be like, "Oh, you're driving, aren't you?" Because if like I haven't talked to someone in a while, and I'll be like,
"Yeah."
I'll be like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, and I do the same thing. I'll either call my girlfriend or some of my friends just kind of check up on them and say, "Hey,
just have a conversation.
What's going on?" Because I'm bored.
Well, too, yeah, like for you, it's a good time for like reflection and too, right? Because we all know, the three of us here, we all know what golf is like. We all golf quite a bit, and there's always going to be things to reflect on, right? It's going to be like, you know, some good days, some bad days. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to just kind of get in the car. Like I know I'm 20 minutes or so down the highway from my course, and you know, you kind of walk back, you spend a minute or so on each hole, and then you kind of like walk it back, and what you think you're going to do differently next time, you're not. I'm never going to do anything differently. I'm still going to hit driver on like a 300-yard hole or whatever I need to do, right?
Every time.
But yeah, so it's kind of nice to have that reflection point, and yeah, and I guess for transitioning to, you know, a professional athlete, that's something that you need, right? And that mental part is like a huge part of the game, and I think that's kind of the difference too with what separates, you know, guys with the ability like Bryce here and people pros like yourself. Sorry, Bryce, I'm like airing you out here.
I mean, no, it's fine. I've played 9 rounds this year, 10 maybe.
Bryce has been a near professional athlete in multi sports. Just we got to get you there, Bryce. We got to get you there, man. But,
I mean, I just don't have time anymore. I was on the cusp of, I shot 73 times, never broke it, and now I'm just kind of on the decline. So
yeah, we're heading back down. Parker, this was great though, man.
If you can't break it, I mean, if you can't break it, you might as well just
stop. Oh, I'm gonna break it one day, but it's gonna be like the most random day. I'm gonna go out and play with buddies, and then just go like 2 under on the front, and then I'm gonna go like 2 under on the back, and that's just gonna be it. I guarantee it. Well, it's gonna happen one day.
It's like a sticking point. I've messaged Bryce a couple times, and where the 12th hole finishes on my course is right at the parking lot. I've been like, oh, like I'm gonna head out, and I'll like a couple times I'll be like +1, +2 or something. He's like, you gotta play it out. You gotta play it out.
You just gotta finish.
Yeah, but it's just like the number. I just chase the shot, man. I'm like constantly just chasing like
I'm a big score guy. Like I like to care. I care about what I shoot. I like to know what I shoot. He can go play 13 holes and walk off and don't like. Even if he's 3 under, he'd walk off. I can't do that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to walk off.
I hate that it happens, and it's a big mental block for me. I always play my best rounds when I can only play 9 holes. I played 9 holes my last 2 rounds. I shot even par on one. I shot 1 over on the other.
It's just consistency, right? Like I got 2 scorecards in the box there, and one of them has a 1 on it, and the other one has a 2. So and a par 4. So those are the only ones I've kept. It's just about trying to make shots. But
I have every scorecard from my past like 30 rounds in a container over here. So
Parker, I know it's getting late, man. We appreciate you kind of doing this on a short notice, and yeah, let's get you back on when you get that PGA Tour card, man. So 2024, right?
Yeah, sure. It's cool with me.
All right. Is that we said 2 years? So hopefully it's sooner, man.
Hey,
but
if that's the time, then that's cool.
I like it, man. I like it. Hey, it's something.
I really appreciate you all having me on.
What before we let you go, we'll grab your socials and I'm gonna link them below. So if you're listening in the car right now, really appreciate you guys clicking subscribe, rating the pod, doing all that stuff. Go find Parker's socials so you can follow him on his journey as well. What do you got coming up in the next couple of weeks, Parker, that we can get people kind of tuning in a little bit for you?
Right now, I mean, I have this first stage, the 20th through the 23rd, down here in Orlando at Champions Gate International. Beyond that, hopefully we have second and third stage is the biggest thing we're looking for. I might play in the Greenbrier some tournament up there in Kentucky at Greenbrier over there, and then I'll probably be moving down here. Not sure where yet, 100%. I gotta talk to Vim and Michael. I'm not sure what they're doing, but
yeah. You guys can play golf year round in Kentucky though, right? It just gets a little cold.
Gets a little cold, not Canada cold, but
no. Yeah, but you can play all year though, right? Courses are usually open in the winter.
Yeah, for the most part, as long as you're not at like one of the super nice places. Like I'm pretty sure Valhalla closes for a while, but
Valhalla, man, that's a spot. That's so good looking. Yeah.
Hey, I played there like 2 weeks ago. It was awesome. I played from the members tees, but it was a lot of fun. So.
Was it much, like, was it pushed up quite a bit?
Probably 800 yards.
Really, eh? Yeah, so it's significant, but still nice to get out and kind of.
Yeah, that was my first time playing it.
Yeah.
And as somebody who's native to Kentucky, and it took me 24 years to actually see the golf course hurts, but I mean, finally got out there and I had a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet, man. It's a good looking track. Like it's one of the best in the area, right? So I think like Kentucky.
They just redid their fairways too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Put in Georgia.
Well, hopefully it's not more than 24 years until you get out there again, man. But it's if you see Vim too, tell him we're waiting for him. We'll get a recording in with him too, and we'll have to get him on in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But thanks, man. Really appreciate it. A couple housekeeping things before we let you go. 100th episode's coming up in a couple weeks. We have a signed pair of shoes with Squares Golf that we are going to be giving away. I think they're going to say John Daly or Nick Faldo or both on there. So definitely appreciate you checking that out. And it'll be pretty cool. We got Mac Boucher on that week, and it'll be fun. So thanks, Parker. Really appreciate this, man. Anybody who wants to kind of follow the journey, follow you on your road to the PGA Tour, just scroll down. If you're in the car, stop the car, scroll down, and click some of the socials and check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it, Parker.
Yeah, thank you guys. Y'all have a good one.
Is out in my ball in the course where I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross. Worst case scenario.